All right, let's do week 2 for 2208 class. This I was gonna go through this one here, this AC Res 9 assignment. So there's a video, but the assignment related to it is not exactly related to it. So that's been the case of a few others here. But if I go into this one, let's see, we've got there's a PDF of instructions, and I'll pull that up and follow it. And then there's a drawing to download that's similar to the last one we did, but it's got a little, I think, if some differences. I think so. So I'm going to download it new here, or it's this assignment one. Then you can put your initials on it when you save yours. You can save it with your initials, make it unique so everybody's isn't the same drawing number. Yeah, so I've got that downloaded. So the assignment goes, let's see, this, drag it over here. So what we're going to do is what? Oh, create a new layout tab with move copy command. Okay. Set up the layout tab to show a section view. All right. So we've got I would say that should say adjust the viewport or modify layers. Oh, and then we're going to modify some of the layers in specific viewports only. Okay. So it just says save. Go ahead and download um, that drawing from which looks, I mean, the imagery here looks like it's like your last drawing, but just go ahead and download this new one. Settings, layers, drawing, whatever it is on the assignment. And then what I want you to do is create a copy of the front view tab, move it to the end of the tabs, rename it section view. This might be a little confusing. This is kind of manipulating some stuff. I don't think it's been presented in the video. So this is just more of getting used to AutoCAD and some things you can do. So I'll just piecemeal this together piece by piece. Then we want to center the section view in that viewport. So we got to learn how to modify a viewport a little bit or work with a viewport. So, okay, so I'll keep this up. I'm going to open up that drawing. So I've already downloaded it and I've saved it. There's mine. I haven't put my initials on it. I will when I go to save it as a new copy. So let's go ahead and say open this. So this is as it should open up to you. I don't know if it'll open up on your the layout tab or if it'll open up on the model view, but mine opened up on the layout tab. So what they want us to do is make it's it can be unclear from just reading those instructions, but and I'll turn on my grid always if that's turned off on yours too. But what they want us to do is make a copy of this tab, like another copy of a layout tab. So my layout tab would be considered like another sheet. I'm going to add another sheet to this print set. They've already got kind of and this is the viewport. This is me peering into the model space, right? So that one's kind of just zoomed in on this one view, and it's kind of nothing else is showing up into it because of the way it's been adjusted and because of the scale that it's at. So it fits here without showing the other views. We're gonna create a copy of this tab. So I actually just come down here, right click this tab. And the reason why the instructions say move or copy is because they're kind of a combined copy here on the right click menu when we're adding different layout sheets. So move or copy. The funny thing is, you have to select create a copy here. So it's not default is just to move it. To create a copy of it, we want to make sure that is checked. And then we can just choose where to put it. And if you had a bunch of sheets here, 10 sheets, you can decide which sheet to put it in between or in front of. In this case, we only have the single layout sheet, so it just says to move it to end. And when I say okay, there it is. It's like it's a copy. It's an exact copy of that previous sheet. So we can give this thing a new name. Generally, your sheets may have different just heading names here. These don't necessarily show up in the title block anyway, so these names are kind of independent of that at this point on this drawing. And so I'm going to right click this again and just say rename. And it says to call it section view. So I'm going to type that in. And we've got our new section view tab. And we have a front view tab. Only currently they're still looking at the same spot in model space. So I think if I pull up that instruction sheet, where do I have it? This one. So I've got the thing copied and renamed section view. Then it says center the section view in the viewport. as shown in the image below. And then it says hint. Well, the hint is more than a hint. This is a must do right here. So this should be just step flipping the next step. You've got to edit this viewport, you have to unlock the viewport. I mean, that'll frustrate the heck out of you. So that's more than a hint. Let's see. So I'm on my section view tab. What we need to do is pick a different space. Remember these like windows into model space. They're peering into that. So I'm going to I'm going to double, or if I just select it like this, yeah, if I just select this viewport, select the outside of it here, I'll zoom in a little bit. If I select the outside, your status bar should change, maybe like mine. But what I'm looking for is what it says is the hint. You got to unlock it. Yeah, you can't really change the position. I mean, that's the nature of a viewport or this window. Once we decide we're peering in and we've seen what we want to see, we generally, and it's the scale we like, which means it's like the size on our sheet that we like. It fits the way I'm planning it out. Um, that's the scale that we would adjust to make it fit that. So once we're happy with like the scale and the place that it's looking in the model, then we lock them down so I don't accidentally like peer in there and then move it and change the scale and mess something up. So, it's pretty common that my viewports are locked all the time. So you get used to this workflow. If you have a viewport, generally you might have to unlock it to make a modification. So I'm going to select the viewport and I'm just going to come down here to my status bar and I'm going to unlock that thing. That lets me have full control over it. Right now it's at a 1:2 scale. That's kind of maybe nice to know. I might set my other one at a 1:2 scale, but because you have some options on and the scale is obviously how the size of this is showing up on my print. Um, so, but we get better at this as we go, so don't stress too much. Um, there's a bunch of preloaded scales in here. I don't need to worry about that yet. I just know that once you unlock it, and if you click into this, and I activate like I'm in here, like I'm in model space, that's why my cursor kind of disappears because it's in model space. And then you can then if I scroll this, if I use my scroll wheel on my mouse, I'm actually changing the scale of the drawing and what size it is. What it's asking me to do is like peer into model space like this, and then so I'm unlocking it. Now I'm actually in the model space. How you do that is you double click in the window, or you can double click out. Now I'm actually on the kind of like I'm on the paper itself. So it's independent of this viewport. I mean, this assignment to throw in right now is just we haven't really set up a lot of information. So this is all kind of off the deep end of how viewports, model space work with your layout tabs. But it's great. We can struggle through it. And let's see. And so right now I'm on paper space. So to get back in there, you just double click and here's how I jump back in that window. And then and then I'm just controlling what the scale of the viewport is here, or the window. And so what it wants me to do is zoom in on the section view like this. So I'm just like literally just scrolling in, zooming in on that section view that I'm trying to highlight. The other one was at a 1:2 scale. So I think it's a preloaded scale, 1:2. Yeah, like that. That's a half scale is kind of what I would think of that. It's half the size as it actually is on the model space. So now I've actually set that at 1:2. It doesn't say that on the instruction sheet. I mean, you could actually literally just scroll. You just know that when you're scroll scaling, they can be some weird dimension or some decimal scale that you're set at, which would work for a lot of drawings. We try to pay attention to this a little bit more throughout our class, that just maybe I'm picking an intentional scale. And so that's why I'm picking maybe a 1:2 scale. And then I can grab that and pan it around without moving the scale, but I'm kind of moving it so that it's centered in that viewport. It looks like to me on the assignment sheet that they're anticipating you having these dimensions from the other model next to it showing up in my viewport. They're telling you just to leave it like that. So I'm going to lock this down now. So I've picked a kind of the same scale. I've got the viewport in on the section view. This is the section view tab. So let's jump over to what else we got to do with this. It's just a couple little adjustments. So while we're in here now, we've got that done. And they just want us to change up the section view, okay? And so it says it wants us to hide the dimensions from the front view and change the hatching color to green in only the viewport. So this is more of just why you would do this. I don't know, but it's just kind of an exercise in what you can do with this. And so bring up the layer properties manager, and we're going to look for the dimensions layer, and we're going to click VP freeze. So VP is viewport freeze. So you can treat the model differently in the model space versus the viewport space. And so this is a way to manipulate some changes you might want to show up on your prints or drawings that you're not necessarily changing your model with. Maybe that's what I'm looking at. I think that's a rare thing that I would do, but let's see. Find the hatching layer and then change the color to green. So we want to freeze one. I think when we freeze that, it'll make it, you can see it in the assignment sheet. The dimensions that are showing up in the viewport from my section view from the front view there will disappear now just within the viewport. It's not like I'm turning them off on the model. It's just like in this viewport, this window, they won't show up. So let's see. And then is that all we gotta do? Yeah, it says if we're done correctly, then the dimensions will be let's see here. If everything was done correctly, then the dimensions will still be showing in the front view tab on the other sheet, okay? And the hatching will still be red in the model tab. Are the dimensions visible in the front view layout? And is the hatching red? Okay, so that's how we would check ourselves. Okay, let's do it. So it wants us to jump back over here. And now I'm going to manipulate the layer properties. And so that's right here on my home tab. Layer properties right by where I can like see what all kind of layers I have. So I'm going to open up the layer properties, this big dialog box. I generally make mine kind of big here. And yours might be, I think sometimes when you, well, if I close that, maybe it's going to keep my, um, yeah, I like to expand all these columns out so you can sometimes read what they are, if they're short or smashed, just double click them and you can expand it. Yes. So I've expanded these out so I can read them. What we're kind of looking to modify is looking to modify dimensions that they are frozen in the viewport. And I'm on this tab. I'm working on my tab. So that should affect, we'll see how this works. So dimensions, I'm going to freeze them. Wait, do I have a bunch of hidden? What do I feel like I'm missing? Do I feel like I'm missing a column here? Like a freeze column? Lock free. Did I hide something I didn't mean to? Hold on just a second. Let me double check my settings, or I need to find my columns here maybe. Let me pause this.